Welcome back to Court Vision. Luke Backman here with Vincent Zakian. As a lot continues to happen in the NBA, a never a dull moment in this league. I think this episode we'll talk about firings, we'll talk about teams on the rise, and teams probably in the West that continue to do what we think and they should be doing at this early part of the season. Again, I'm Luke Backman, Vincent Zakian. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Vincent Zakian, and then, of course, Backman Sports here, where Court Vision is on. Vincent, how are you feeling so far? I mean, we did a preview or like a recap a week or two into the season. How you feeling now? We got around 10, 15-ish games so far in the season done.
Yeah, teams are starting to show who they are a lot. There's, kind of just some bad luck that goes against teams early in the season, like with Orlando or with like some teams that are like overperforming. There's underperformance for sure. So there's a lot of surprises, but I think maybe the least surprising thing ever is what we're going to start the show with.
Yeah, let's jump off right to it. The most hated man in Dallas is out of Dallas. Nico Harrison was fired yesterday. Of course, the time of the recording. Nico, GM since 2021, which honestly kind of caught me by surprise. I thought he was only there for a couple of years. Like, he was there for 4 years. A lot of mistakes on the resume. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about the Luka one here for a second, but I mean, as a Knicks fan, I got to thank him for not extending Jalen Brunson and allowing Jalen Brunson to go to the New York Knicks. But Nico Harrison is the GM no longer with the Dallas Mavericks. Vincent, what was your instant reaction when you heard the news and got the Shams tweet?
It was the least surprising thing ever. You said actually, it's interesting you say he made a lot of mistakes because I'd totally forgotten about the Brunson thing too. That was a massive mistake. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing about Nico is that he was like killing it. I remember when the Mavs went to the finals, every game, like inside the NBA and like the Western Conference Finals and all that, they were lauding Nico because of how good PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively and Derek Jones were, and how Kyrie was, behaving. And it's just, I mean, not to just like rehash the entire trade, it's like one of the greatest misreads of what makes a team good ever.
Yeah.
Just the idea, and that's putting aside what they got back for Luka. The fact that they didn't make a market for him and got nothing in return. Relatively nothing. Mm-hmm. He was, I think, just so proud of all these guys he had brought in, and didn't realize that they were all playing really well because they were teammates with Luka Doncic. And Luka's killing it now, and I think the trade really hurt him too. But what kills me about it, Luke, more than anything, is the arrogance after the fact. If you don't like Luka, all right, like trade him, whatever. Like you should never do that, and the fan base is never gonna like you, even if they win a championship. Who knows if they'll ever like him? But the defense wins championship stuff, and I hope people are seeing the vision stuff, like when you get just dumb luck landing the first overall pick. Well, I would say dumb luck. Some would say, rigged. Yeah. That can sour you on a guy super fast. So I won't delight in somebody's firing like that, but yeah, it was probably the right move by the new ownership.
Yeah, and it felt like, as much as this was a basketball move, I mean, they were 3-8 to start the season when he was fired. It was also, and I've heard plenty of people say this, trying to win back the fans, because literally every game it's fire Nico. I mean, if you're in the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area, you hear fire Nico. Like, I remember when the trade happened, I said this in my video, there was a medieval festival going on, and there was fire Nico chants. There was a college basketball game the night before that he got fired. They were fire Nico chants. Like, it's just, fans were turned off. 24 years straight, they had a home sellout. Consecutive sellouts for 24 years straight. Should have said that better to begin with, but that ended the start of the season because people literally were turned off from the Mavericks because they traded Luka Doncic and Nico Harrison was at the helm. And I think you had touched on it perfectly. The arrogance and ignorance of him to say, no, this is all my doing. This has nothing to do with Luka. I'll build a championship team again. When, hey, in reality, Luka Doncic only comes in once in a generation. You drafted him. Now you just give them up to the Lakers. And when this trade happened, immediately, I told one of my friends, I said, this will be one of the trades that when we talk to our kids about basketball, they go, why would they trade Luka Doncic? And the answer will be, I have no idea. Like that was one of the trades because, like you mentioned, you get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and like a first-round pick. That's it for Luka Doncic. Desmond Bane is going for 4 first-round picks in the swamp, and that's what you got for Luka Doncic. I mean, I think for the Mavericks, they've talked about. I've heard the reports. They're probably going to have to blow this up, trade AD, trade Kyrie, because they only have 1 first-round pick. That's next year. And then their next first-round pick is like in 2031. So you got to trade this. You got to blow this team up and trade these guys because Cooper Flagg's going to need pieces around him. Cooper Flagg's had his struggles, but overall he looks like he'll be fine. But man, and all of this has transpired in 9 months for the Mavericks. Like I have plenty of Mavericks fans, and the heartbreak over 9 months they felt. 2024, June of 2024, they're playing the Boston Celtics for the championship. Now it's looking like this is going to be a multi-year rebuild when you thought you had a guy for 15 more years to lead your team in Luka Doncic. It's just, people have said it, an utter failure from the organization.
I want to get to like possible AD trades in a second. I want to jump ahead to that stuff. But I want to address Mavericks fans because I know how they feel, dude. When I was 11 years old, the Eagles traded my favorite player, Deshaun Jackson. They cut him. They let him go because Chip Kelly didn't like him. They blamed it on gang ties or something, which was a total farce. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl 3 years later, Luke. They went on, they rebuilt, they fired Chip Kelly, obviously. They rebuilt, and they won the Super Bowl 3 years later. And it still hurts me that my guy wasn't on that team. Even though, the Super Bowl healed every possible wound, it still just irks me a little bit. And that's how you're gonna feel if you're a Mavericks fan. This rebuild could be a success if they trade AD and Kyrie, and Flag turns out to be the guy, and they end up being an awesome team. It's gonna be tough to win a championship in the West in the coming years for sure. But that's best case scenario. You're still gonna be mad about it forever. It's a wound that doesn't heal. When your guy, this guy that the city has invested so much in. This would never happen if Mark Cuban hadn't sold it. Mark Cuban's been adamant that had he not sold his shares or most of his shares, whatever he did, it was kind of a new ownership thing. I feel like maybe someday we're going to see, maybe in a year, we'll see Nico Harrison go on TV and sit down with Malika Andrews and be yeah, the owners pressured me into it. Or yeah, I was groomed by Rob Pelinka, something like that. Rob Pelinka, man. How can Nico continue to be friends with Rob Pelinka? He got him fired. He humiliated him publicly. Oh my god.
He backdoored his man. Rob Pelinka backdoored his man. But I will say this, and I am sort of sick of the narrative that Nico is the scapegoat. I understand people saying that. Yes, the ownership is at fault here too because they okayed this. No owner's not going to know their GM's trading their star player, but the multiple reports of Shams and Tim McMahon and all these this was Nico's brainchild. 100%. This was all Nico, and then he goes to the ownership and they say, "Well, you're the GM. We trust you." And maybe the ownership had some problems with Luka themselves, and they're not scot-free in this. But, Charles Barkley was up on Inside the NBA, and I know Charles has ties with Nico, and he's friends with Nico, so he's defending his friend. But he's this is ridiculous. Nico Harrison, he got scapegoated. The owners need to take responsibility for this. Well, GMs get fired for a lot less. You trade your star player, and he's an MVP candidate in the early part of the season, and your team's 3-8, and he said all of the I'm sorry, he's not the scapegoat. He, I don't want to say rightfully deserved to be fired, but he kind of did. Yeah. Just the way it is, he's not the scapegoat. You can't just say the owners are making themselves look scot-free and clean. No, the owners had blame for this too. But Nico's not. This wasn't. He's fallen on the sword. No, Nico dug his own grave with this trade.
100%. I wonder how Mavs fans feel because now they have to live with the results. like, Nico's rich
Yeah.
and he can go like hang out and he'll be fine, whatever. I don't know if he'll ever be a GM again, but Mavs fans have to live
Mhm.
with the results. You almost wish you could keep booing him every night, but now he's gone.
I saw someone because Nico changed his Instagram bio to unemployed. It was from like Mavs GM to unemployed, and a Mavs fan said, "Well, I'm glad this is funny in a game to him. I mean, this is years
Yeah,
of my life now that I'm gonna, my favorite player is now with the Lakers, and years of my life I'm going to have to watch my favorite team be a losing team trying to rebuild." So no, Mavs fans like yesterday was a celebration, or 2 days ago, whenever they fired him. Like, okay, yes, he's gone, but it doesn't bring back Luka.
yeah.
That's the sad part for them. I know you talked about AD trades. Well, I mean, what have you thought about AD being traded
Well, obviously the Heat are going to be involved to some degree.
somehow?
They'll be sniffing around. I thought it would just be interesting just to pair him with Bam as like a double big.
Hmm.
Just because there's a lot of double bigs out there in the NBA right now. I don't know who they'd have to trade like Wiggins and Hero to make the salaries match. I don't even know. But I was looking around the league and it's tough to find a place for AD. It's
Hmm.
just like an aging, possibly out of shape, big man.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I thought about maybe Indiana for when Halliburton comes back to kind of replace what Miles Turner had for them. And I thought about the Hawks for Trae Young, which I actually kind of liked.
Okay.
I thought that would be not a bad place to restart. Trae goes to Dallas, gets to play with Flag. Trae's still pretty young. And then it's
Hmm.
AD with all those athletes. And the Hawks get to cut ties with Trae, which I think they will probably want to do at some point. But I don't know. Do you have any ideas? AD and Kyrie should both be on the block.
Yeah, I mean, like Kyrie, like could the Rockets be involved? We've talked about the Rockets need a point
Yeah.
guard. Like Rockets get a point guard in the second half of the season. You don't know if the Mavericks would want to trade Kyrie to Houston and another West team, but at this point you got to take what you can get. I don't know exactly what Houston would have. I mean, after getting KD, so like I'd have to see there. AD, I like that Atlanta, but it would scare me with Atlanta. You both have AD and
Yeah.
Porzingis, two guys that are just injury prone. Like who could you rely on in that
Mhm.
position? I don't know. Yeah, it's tough because I think like AD is a superstar, but he's not. He's never on the court.
Yeah.
You don't want to give up all these picks for Anthony Davis if the guy's not on the court. It's it's a tough position to be in. It feels like.
Yeah. It sucks, man. I mean, I know you're not a Mavs fan living in DFW, but I imagine it's a sad scene.
No, it is. Like, even though I'm a Knicks fan, and thank you, Nico, for giving us Jalen Brunson. Like, I still like as a basketball fan, it still like makes me feel bad for Mavs fans. Like, this really had this was a superstar that they just gave away for practically nothing. If they're going to turn around and trade Anthony Davis, getting less than 20 games out of him, like it's just like, geez, you're watching people's joy of the game of basketball just evaporate because Nico Harrison thought he could do things his way in Dallas. Crazy.
Yeah. I'll never forget that trade, dude. I remember, I mean, we were both in Syracuse, but I had the flu that weekend.
Mhm.
It was the weekend between the conference championships and the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And so it was the perfect weekend for me to have the flu because I didn't like miss any major Eagles games or anything. But I was just like sleeping and waking up at like random hours and sleeping and waking and like living solely off of Gatorade. I was like kind of out of my mind. Like I was having crazy like fever dreams.
Mhm.
I would like not know where I was at. Whatever. It was a wild 2-3 days just in my apartment in Syracuse. And I remember I woke up. I was up at like whenever it broke, like 4 in the morning, 3 in the
Yeah,
morning,
yeah.
whatever it was, on the
Mhm.
day that it happened. And I was like, oh, I'm having another dream. I'm like hallucinating because of this insane flu that's ravaging my body. Nope.
Mhm.
Nope. It was real.
Insane. Yeah. No, that one of those moments you'll never forget where you were. You talked about the Heat and the Pacers, two Eastern Conference teams. I want to pivot over to the Eastern Conference because I was telling you before, I think the Eastern Conference is going to be fun. It's not obviously as good as the Western Conference, but I think these teams are going to have some fun matchups as we play along this season. In particular, though, we got to talk about the number one seed currently in the East, the Detroit Pistons, a team that I was scared that they were going to take a step back. You had full faith in them. Right now, as we started this early season, Cade Cunningham, I mean, he's playing at probably an MVP early season level. What have you seen from the Pistons so far?
I've been really impressed. I feel like they are taking the necessary steps. Like Cade, we know is a star. Cade's averaging 27 and 10 right now, right?
Yep.
He's been incredible. Although he had 46 on 45 shots the other night, so that makes me think maybe they're still a little too reliant on him. But the improvement of Duren, averaging 23 and 13 on the 6-game win streak before they won without all their guys last night, that's been massive. Him and Cade in the pick and roll is like revolutionary. All-Star Thompson, I rave a lot about his brother, but he's been excellent as well. And yeah, they won last night without Cade, Duren, Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Beef Stew. That's their starting five right there. They won last night. They beat the Chicago Bulls, who have been really good to start the year. Shout out to B-Ball Paul Reed. Big game from him last night. I've been really impressed. First place. And all without Jaden Ivey, by the way.
I will say Chicago has kind of fallen back to where we thought, obviously, 6-1, 5-1 start. They're kind of falling back into place, it feels like, for Chicago. But Detroit, I think another unsung hero, Duncan Robinson. He's come in. He's averaging 12 on 3-pointers made per game. I think they wanted him to be kind of what Malik Beasley was last year. Beasley hit the most 3-pointers in Pistons history last season. Robinson's come in, gave him 3 3-pointers a game. You give him 12 points. There you go. That helps continue to, not rely on Cade. I think Jalen Duren, right now, he's having one of the best seasons, at least in the East, for a center. I saw some of his stats compared to Karl Anthony Towns. Like, okay, Duren's been playing, averaging 12 rebounds as well. I love this Pistons. If they weren't an Eastern Conference team and a Knicks potential rival and play, like, I love the way that they feel like a gritty bad boys-esque type of Pistons team. Obviously, Isaiah Stewart's going to fight anybody in the league. Like, it feels like if anybody messes with Cade, he's got backup too. Like, it feels like everybody is like, oh, you hard foul on Cade, the whole team's going to come over and get in your face. Like, I love the Pistons and how they play, and I love Cade Cunningham's game. So, he's continued. This is why when a number one pick who's 19 years old doesn't have a mammoth rookie or sophomore year, you don't give up on him. Cade Cunningham has slowly developed, and the Pistons, this is where they want to be. You got your star number one pick, Cade Cunningham, doing what he's doing. This is going to be a fun team, and I'll talk a little more about the East in a second, but, right now, Piston, Cleveland, New York, those are the top three. Other than Orlando or Atlanta, like, I feel like maybe not that order, but maybe that order, those could be the top three in the East to end the season as well.
Definitely. Again, Duren taking a step is huge. He's younger than us, by the way, Luke, which is incredible. But having a big to pair with Cade is absolutely massive, and it's another, like, him and Beef Stew. The double big thing is kind of taking over right now.
Yep.
In the NBA. Or it's resurging, I guess. And that changes everything. If he can be, close to all-star level, and it's not just Cade alone out there fighting for his life. And again, you got Thompson. Like, this team, there was a clip the other night that, I don't know, it spoke to me a lot, where Duren's like yelling at Thompson after a play. After, I don't know if he fouled somebody or something. It's after a play. I wasn't watching the game. It was just a clip I saw. Duren's pissed at Thompson, and then, like, 10 seconds later, they're on the bench, and they're just, like, dapping up, and you can kind of read their lips or read their expressions, and you can kind of tell that it's just, like, they're being intense with each other because they want to win, and they're cool. It's just it's the ideal competitive collaborative environment that, like, every team strives to generate when they draft all these really good young players, and you can tell they got like that taste of winning last year. And now it's starting to set in, and the standards are getting raised, and that's really good. And that's very exciting for Detroit Pistons fans.
And I got to say this, if Detroit stays in the top three, even the top four, like, man, if Detroit gets home court advantage for any series in the playoffs, like, as a Knicks fan who play, we had home court against them last year, but, like, those games in Detroit, I think that they're one of the loudest, and that's a fan base starving for a winner with the Pistons. Like, it was such a home court advantage. I was watching a clip of a podcast with Kat and Ben Stiller, and Ben Stiller was like, I was at those Detroit games, and he's like, I was nervous for you guys because if you guys didn't silence them, they were going to be like a sixth man on the court. Pistons are able to get home court advantage in any series, that is going to be huge for them. I mean, I think they've played some solid teams in this first 10 games. I've also played the Jazz, the Nets, the Wizards. The Wizards were the game that Cade went 45 shots in. So it's like, okay, they've had, a mediocre schedule to start this year. I'm excited to see when they, start playing these heavy tier teams. I mean, they did beat the Rockets in the second game of the season. So I'll be excited to see the Pistons the rest of the way as well. I think the East, I want to talk about just the Eastern Conference in general. The Knicks lost to the Magic last night. Magic played with Banchero, I think, through the second quarter on. I joined in about the second quarter. He got injured. Yeah. Knicks, I'm not going to overreact. I do want to see if Jalen Brunson is okay. He walked out of MSG in a boot after turning his ankle in the fourth quarter. But the Magic are going to be fun. I think the Magic, Desmond Bane hit a game winner the other night, three-pointer. They're finding their way. And they are a tough, physical team. It reminds me sort of the Pistons. Like, this is physical basketball. Knicks were on a second night of a back-to-back. Their shots weren't falling. They could have played better. They could have played way better, so I'm not worried about that. Bridges played awful. But, man, these are going to be fun matchups because there were a couple fouls that Magic and Knicks players looked at each other for, 3 seconds after the whistle. Like, you get these teams in a series, it's going to be a battle, just clawing at each other. The Magic, the Pistons, the Cavs are right up there. Atlanta's playing better defense now. I think I saw a stat that the Hawks right now have the second best defensive rating behind the Thunder in the league. Like, they're getting defensively back into stride, and that's what I thought. Their wingspans, that on paper, they should be a good defensive team. And the Magic played excellent defense last night as well against the Knicks. Like, again, not as talented, not as good as the Western Conference, but I think these matchups, and I said all of that without saying your 76ers, who have been an early season surprise as well. Like, Eastern Conference is going to have some fun matchups throughout the year. Yeah,
and the Magic they've just started to kind of turn it around shooting-wise. Paolo hasn't been before the injury last night. Paolo's only averaging 21 right now. Like, I think his scoring, whenever he comes back, his scoring is going to take a jump at some point, and they'll be much better for it, and guys will be getting more open as a result of it. He'll have more gravity. Their defense looks to be back. We were kind of panicking about that last time. And the Knicks were just kind of missing shots last night too, but I thought they were making Brunson's life about as difficult as you can make it. And when you've got like Suggs and Anthony Black, like that's what's going to happen. Like, those guys, that's what they get paid a lot of money to do, especially Suggs. Every time the Knicks got close last night, they would just kind of pull away. They'd make a big shot. Like, Suggs had a big deep three. Anthony Black had some really big shots down the stretch. Suggs, by the way, this close to going bald. Just commit, dude. Like, commit.
Just do it, man.
We're there. Yeah.
He's dating Haley Van Lith. Yeah. Unbelievable. Shout out to him though, but just go bald.
Apparently, they've been together for a long time. So shout out to Jalen Suggs. I'm less panicky about the Magic. I think Bane's getting his feet under him for sure. And I'd have no worries about the Knicks. I think the Knicks are steadily improving with Mike Brown, right?
Yeah. I've been impressed by the Knicks. I mean, their offense, obviously, against the Magic really wasn't there. It was lackluster. But when you have it turned into the Jalen Brunson show because OG didn't get going until the fourth. He had a couple shots. Mikal Bridges was nowhere to be found. He was benched. Cat was okay. Like, Cat's been off and on this season, but when he's on, man, he is on. When this offense is on, they are on. Knicks, I mean, early season, I see Knicks fans already crashing out. Like, this isn't football. This is bad. You're going to lose games. Yes. The Knicks are going to lose 30 games, and guess what? If they do, they still win 50 games and going to be a top 3 seed, top 2 seed in the East. So it's a learning curve, and I'm glad it happened early because Mike Brown said in his post-game press conference, well, it kind of was a fight. They just were out physical, and they whooped us. He literally was like, they whooped us. They were more physical than us. They wanted it more. Like, okay, I'm glad we realized early in the season, these teams are going to give us their all. The Knicks, obviously. Magic giving the Knicks their all. So I'm excited to see. I think the Eastern Conference is going to be fun this year. These playoff matchups, like the Knicks have been in legendary first-round matchups the last couple of years. Pistons. Then who did they play? They played the Heat. They beat the Heat.
Play the Sixers.
They lost to the Heat. The Cavs. Sixers, Cavs, Sixers,
That was a
and
fight
then
too, man.
like some fun first round matchups in the East. Obviously, we got a long way to go, but I think the East is going to be fun even in the regular season.
Yeah, I do have this question for you. I mean, obviously, you feel you have the Knicks going to the finals and everything. Do you have any concerns with how physical these teams are? That the Knicks are not, to me, that physical a team when your stars are Brunson and Cat, who play a very not like the opposite of a physical style of basketball. Do you have any concerns about that?
No, because I've seen them get it done against a physical team like Detroit last year. But that means there's so much more pressure on a Josh Hart and a Mitchell Robinson, because like those are two guys that will be fit. Josh Hart will get on the floor for every loose ball. He'll be jumping out the gym for a rebound. Like he'll turn into a physical player. Mitchell Robinson, it feels like anytime there's a shot, he's getting an offensive rebound. Doris Burke said there was a stat that 33% of the shots that the Knicks take when he's on the court after the shot, he gets an offensive rebound. 33% of the shots, he's getting an offensive rebound. And she said like the highest in NBA history was like low 20s, and he's at 33%. So it's like if Mitchell Robinson's healthy, he's down there banging with a Jalen Duren. Down low and Franz Wagner and all these different things. So it scares me a little bit, but again, I think it's early in the season. You see how the Magic are going to play you. They're lanky. They have a long wingspan all throughout their roster. You know, Jalen Suggs was extremely physical with Jalen Brunson. Okay, let's learn how to deal with it early in the season so we get to later on in the season, we'll be good. But yeah, no panic for me yet. You know, let's see back in February, March, how we stack up against these teams and how we respond to the physicality.
Yeah, and Brunson's used to dealing with it. Cat, I would have reservations about him dealing with physical big men, but Brunson, I've seen him get picked up full court a million times in the playoffs, and he'll kind of back his way all the way down, and he'll get a bucket. Like, that's what he does. Yep. So I wouldn't be concerned either, but it's something to monitor with those kind of contrasting play styles. But the Knicks are more talented, and that usually kind of wins in the league.
100%. Let's talk quickly. We can talk about this. Haven't touched much on the Western Conference, but the second game of the doubleheader, Thunder blow out the Lakers. I mean, like, we can talk about both sides if we want. We talked about Luka and AR last episode, but the Thunder are just doing Thunder things. I think I saw a stat that in 13 games, SGA hasn't played in 7 of the fourth quarters because they've just been dominant.
I didn't know that. That's unreal.
I was like, are you kidding me? Last night was the 7th fourth quarter. He sat out. And you got to think they had 2 double OT games to start the season. So, like, they're already winning. Who was on the call? I think Richard Jefferson said you kind of take those games out, they could be winning by close to 20 points a night. Like, I mean, any takeaways from the Thunder this year so far, other than just dominant per usual?
Yeah, it's nothing new. As far as the Lakers go, a few concerns were raised because they would blitz Luka, and Luka would make the right pass, and then like DeAndre Ayton would kick the ball out of bounds or something. Like, just it's things like that are just going to drive you nuts as a Lakers fan. And it's the reason we have concerns about them, especially without Braun last night. It's like AR is the only dude outside of Luka who can get a bucket. And then it's like Smart. The starting lineup was also Smart, Ayton, and Rui. And they were like hard to watch last night because of how difficult the Thunder make everything. Caruso had a little white-on-white crime with AR, hunted him down for a steal last night, and then went up the other end and hit a 3. They're different. Luka's getting everyone good looks, you know what I mean, or as good a look as he can get them, and it makes me wonder how LeBron's going to fit in. I think it'll be a good fit, but not ideal when he comes back. But yeah, it's a defense when the Lakers don't have. It felt like a Mavs game from like last year, where it's just kind of Luka against everybody, and they just blitzed Luka and made everyone else beat him, and they couldn't. So.
Yeah, I switched to watch an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm after Luka split a double team, threw a lob up to DeAndre Ayton, and he missed the alley oop, the dunk, and the Thunder came down, scored, and extended to like 25. I was like, you know what? It's the second quarter, but this game is very far. It is over.
Yeah,
it's done. I don't need to watch the rest of it. So DeAndre Ayton, Laker fans have not been happy with him to start the season, and I feel like that's something we predicted. It's just. I always question his love of the game, and we'll see when LeBron comes back. I don't think it'll be a fix that gets him to a Western Conference Finals, Rob Pelinka will have his work cut out for him. If he thinks this is a year to do it, I don't think really they could make any real trades that could make them compete with the Thunder or the Nuggets. Jokic had 55 last night on the other LA team.
Jeez.
It's just like, it's a two-headed race with maybe the Rockets also playing. And the Spurs. Castle and Wemby had an incredible night last night.
I think the Timberwolves too.
Timberwolves, of course. I'll raise you this question. I saw someone say this on Twitter. Is Castle better than Ja Morant right now?
Like, I'd rather have him on my team.
Yeah,
definitely. And I guess that's kind of what the crux of the question is. I don't know if he's a better player. He's playing better, you know.
Yeah.
And I love Steph Castle. I think he's excellent. And Ja, all the vibes are bad right now, as we've discussed. So, yeah, if I'm the Spurs, like I might be sniffing around the trade market for somebody at the deadline because they think they can be really good this year. Ja Morant is not one of those players when you have Castle and you got Dylan Harper waiting in the wings.
I'm going to say this. The Knicks fan that told, I was like, come to New York, Ja Morant. Like, what are you doing? You're living in the wrong, like, this isn't the Knicks of old. We're not star hunting anymore. Like, we got our guys. If you want to say maybe Giannis as he's walking away, hey, come to New York. Other than Ja Morant, are you kidding me, dude? Like I said, Ja's like, I'm cool. I was like, no, Ja, don't get it twisted. We're cool in New York at the moment right now. No, interesting. What else you got? You got anything else that's on your mind so far?
Yeah, I watched Sixers Celtics the other night, of course. On another note, I'm just gonna give them a shout out on pretty much every podcast we do. Is the NBC crew doing the national broadcast. Tarico and Reggie Miller were on the call. There was a Sixers fan, Mike from Ocean City, heckling people on the court. And I'm watching the game. I'm like, that guy's making some good points. Like, you could kind of hear him on Tarico's mic. And Tarico turns around and is like, hey, who are you? Where are you from? And he's like, I'm Mike from Ocean City. And he's heckling the refs in an educated fashion, telling them about the gather step. That's just the value of Mike Tirico right there, being a great broadcaster. Having the trust of his production crew that Tirico's going to kind of go off script here and be like, hey, I'm just going to ask this guy like where he's from and who is, like, give this guy his moment. That's why Mike Tirico's the best. You would never see that on any other network. That's why he's great. Maybe Mike Breen would do it, but Mike Breen's usually locked in on the game. Tirico, he's so great on the fly, Mike Tirico. I can't say enough about him. As far as the game goes, some Sixers fan tweeted the other night that Quentin Grimes always plays like he just invited a girl to come watch him play. I'm like shocked when I watch Quentin. He's like taking guys one-on-one. Like, he went like behind the back Euro set, like pulling mid-ranges. Like, the Sixers clearly just give him license to do whatever. So shout out to Quentin Grimes. He's been amazing for us. This was the Justin Edwards game. Justin Edwards started 8 of 8, 5 of 5 from 3. Beautiful heat check. Maxey had such a nice wraparound pass to find him for his heat check 3. That was awesome. VJ Edgecombe loves the block. He blocked Paolo last week. I think he got Derek White again on the chase down. He's like a guy with like springs in his shoes. Edgecombe, like, he just can. It's insane. He's like 6'4", and he's getting chase down blocks. Like, it's insane. He's amazing. The closing group of Maxey, Edgecombe, Edwards, Oubre, and Drummond was like ethical. It felt really good. It was just like a really good vibes group. The offense in the clutch was kind of scary because it was just Maxey improv and hope Oubre gets and he did. Oubre got an offensive rebound, and that's how we won the game. But I would like to see Nick Nurse draw up a play. Concerns about when Embiid is in the game. Embiid didn't play the Celtics game. The game slows down. And the strength of this team with all these amazing guards with Maxey and Edgecombe and Edwards and Oubre and, McCain when he's getting good minutes and Grimes, they can play so fast. Yeah. They really do remind me of the Pacers last year. And like Andre Drummond's starting to stretch the floor, by the way, which is like, what's going on? Andre Drummond's starting to stretch the floor, but he's doing it. And the ball stops when Embiid gets in the game, and that is worrisome, and he does not look like the same player defensively. So the early returns, he can still get his 25 points a game, but the early returns say worry a little bit. So that's what I have on the Sixers. The Celtics, Celtics are the Celtics, man. They play everyone really tough, but they don't really have it this year without Tatum.
I saw two things on your points about the 76ers. Grimes. Like
Mm-hmm.
he'd love to do. He'd have moments with the Knicks where he'd try and go 1-on-1, and then Tom Thibodeau would say, "Hey, Quentin, why don't you come take a seat on the bench next to me?" Like, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Quentin Grimes. I thought he was a phenomenal two-way player. I'm happy to see him thriving in Philly so far. In the Drummond spacing, I saw the Sixers. I think they had like a VHS camera or something that they were filming part of the game,
Yeah.
and they had a clip of Drummond hitting a corner three, and someone was like, to think that an old VHS, like think about like an '01 when this was going on, like Dikembe Mutombo for the Sixers pulling up from the corner to
Yeah.
shoot a three. Like it's just like it's such it doesn't happen on that. It's like unbelievable. But no, the Sixers are fun. Sixers are fun to watch. I love the up and down. These young guys, I think, like you said, I mean, Embiid's the biggest question. Paul George seemingly getting ready to come
Yeah.
back. I don't know how you feel about
Yeah.
that.
I think it's gonna be more ball stopping, which
Mhm.
is kind of annoying. But I don't know. We'll probably be better for it, I guess, right now. But yeah, this has been it's been such a like low stakes, just have fun kind of vibe.
Mhm.
And they're playing they're playing Detroit in the Cup
Yep.
tomorrow night, November 14th. I think that'll be a really fun one. Try to get my eyes on that one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Anything else you got from the season so far?
I was watching Rockets Spurs. This was like 4 nights
Okay.
ago now, but I've been really interested to see. I think
Mhm.
the Rockets are like the team perfectly designed to defend Wemby going forward, and they did exactly what I thought they would do. Far from the basket, they throw Amon at him. Amon's just a pest, and then when he gets down low, there was one play where Steven Adams just like fell down and took Wemby with him. When the Rockets were on offense, and what it takes the best shot blocker and like rim deterrent player out of the game. So like Amon Thompson just like walked to the cup and laid it in. I was like, I wonder if teams are just gonna start doing that, which made me think maybe we see kind of like a Jordan rules thing. You know how like the Pistons were like extra physical with MJ because he was like an athlete the likes of which the league had never seen. We have a new athlete the likes of which the league has never seen. Maybe teams like teams are gonna just stack up big men to throw at him. It'll be interesting to see if there's like some rule changes or some like foul play within the guides of the game as Wemby continues to grow because his impact defensively is just like unmatched. And then
1 second on that. I do think we'll see
go.
more and more. You talked about them throwing Amen and then a big man. Like I think that's going to become more and more relevant because I remember I was watching San Antonio, LA, and if he caught it on the elbow or at the free throw line, they'd throw Marcus Smart on him. And then, like, they'd have a big man helping close to it. So I think that's something, like, I don't know if playoff comes around, that's how teams are still going to do it. But, like, it seems like let's throw our best guard, pest type player from on him away from the basket. And then once he comes in, let's have our best guy, our best big guy, try and get him there, pick him up there. So I feel like that's, at least for the regular season to start, like, that's how teams are trying to navigate guarding Wemby.
Yeah, that's how teams have like. That's kind of what the Thunder did against Jokic last year. They would like have Caruso just harass him, and then when he gets down low, that's what Smart used to do that against Embiid all the time.
Yep.
And yet still, by the way, the Spurs won this game because, like, they put Wemby in the middle of a zone, and usually he gets the ball with his back to the basket in the zone, and it's like, all right, cut off his passing lanes. You can't cut off Wemby's passing lanes because he's above everybody.
Yep.
So everyone can still just kind of cut to the hoop anyway. And so it's just they're such a tough guard. But Reed Shepherd's improving, which is good. He's like getting steals. He's like getting those kinds of contributions defensively. And the Rockets have an extremely high offense. I think the highest offensive rating in the league right now, and run more isolation than anybody in the league, which is interesting because they're just saying because they're not running plays. They're just saying, "Hey Şengün, hey KD, hey Amen, go get us a good look." So I'm still encouraged by the Rockets and. Yeah, the Spurs are a problem. They lost to Golden State last night, but Curry went off. But
what a move from Şengün you talked about. I don't know if you saw against Milwaukee on Giannis to like ice the game a few nights ago. Like that was like okay, yeah, like Şengün and KD that's a dynamic duo right there.
Yeah, man, it's serious. They're going to be good. I think when you're looking at the West, I think it's the Thunder and the Nuggets are kind of in their own class. Yep. I think the Rockets are the closest thing to them right now.
I agree.
For me, even without a guard, they have such talented players. It's like, what do you do with that? So yeah, I have a little hypothetical for you if you want to go into this.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just been going around Twitter a lot, or I've just been seeing tweets about it, and kind of on the topic of the Rockets. Would you rather have James Harden's career or Dwayne Wade's?
Okay, so let's break this down. Harden, obviously one of the greatest scorers of all time, MVP, but the knock on him, no championships. D Wade, another great all-time shooting guard. Not the prolific scorer that Harden is, but what's he got? 2 championships? No, 3. He's got 2 with LeBron,
3.
1 with the Heat in 06. For me, I'd go D Wade. I think I'd have to go D Wade because of the championships. I think, yes, Harden probably is the better player. But even saying that, it's not like I'm like, oh, it's easily Harden's the better player, and he's gotten probably the more money from the max contracts and everything. But it's and the accolades, because D Wade never won an MVP, correct? I don't. No, he never won an MVP. So Harden won. No, I'd go D Wade. 3 championships. I know Harden probably had a longer peak because D Wade's knees started to do him in as his career went on.
Yeah.
But I think I'd go D Wade. Those 3 championships, and that 06 championship, that's something that no one can take away from D Wade. You can't say that D Wade's career was made with LeBron. No, D Wade won himself a championship in 06 by himself. Granted, he had Shaq with him as well, but I think I'd have to go D Wade. What about you?
I think you're exactly right. I think the best thing you can do in basketball is be the best player on a championship team. And D Wade, like Harden was made for his era, that version of D Wade, the game passed him by a little bit as his knees went, and they went early. He was already going through injuries by the time LeBron got to the Heat. He was that's probably part of the reason LeBron went to the Heat and was immediately the guy. But D Wade was unreal in the mid 2000s. Based on all the research I've done. I was a kid at the time, but I've watched the games and I've looked at the box scores and stuff, and I know this guy was unreal, and it's the highest honor the highest level you can really achieve in the NBA is being the best player on a championship team, and he was. That was Shaq was kind of starting to pass his prime for sure, and his numbers were incredible. He was pretty much unstoppable. He lived at the free throw line in that playoff run, but Harden, I will always remember as the guy whose game dropped dramatically in the playoffs. And there are apologists for Harden out there, and he's made so much money, and he's got great longevity. And every single year, it's the same thing, and it's been this way for a decade. So, I don't hate James Harden, but I thought it was an interesting hypothetical.
Yeah, if you ask me, what play style would you have rather had? I might go Harden, the step back, the flashy, the threes. You got to remember, James Harden had Ricky Rubio defending him behind him because they couldn't figure out a way to guard him. Play style.
Yep.
Maybe Harden, even though D Wade his nickname was Flash for a reason in the early part of the career because he'd slash in the lane, he'd dunk on people. He didn't have the jumper that James Harden had, but. You said he got to the free throw line. He was in the lane. He was battling with the bigs down low. I think play style, I'd go Harden, but career, I'd have to go D Wade.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas for a Ja trade right now? Do you think? Because I think that's inevitable.
Yeah, Houston, of course. I'm just any point guard on the market. I'm thinking Houston. Did I say? I think I saw something that the Timberwolves had checked in or had thought about.
Yes. There's been some proposed trades out there. The Timberwolves would have to give up, Mike Conley to make the salaries match, but they'd probably also want Dillingham or Jaden McDaniels or both of them.
So
that would be.
If you get Ja, I wouldn't mind parting with Dillingham.
Yeah. If you get Ja, yeah.
You're betting on Ja. Dillingham would stay your backup point guard, and you take Ja any day of the week.
I don't know what they have in the way of picks because of how much they gave up for Gobert, but that would be fascinating.
That'd be fun. Ja, Randall, and Ant on the same team. That'd be an interesting.
Rudy.
I'll say Rudy, Dante DiVincenzo. Do you think if Ja gets traded, his game's going to change? Like, do you think we'll see the old Ja, or is it kind of like, is this Ja Morant as a player for the rest of his career? Like, I feel like he's lost the love in Memphis.
Yeah, it's like he has lost. I think Memphis as a city still rides for Ja, but like I think the team doesn't mess with them very much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's a test of who you are, really, because we've seen like players get traded and be extremely motivated. I mean, Luka Doncic is a perfect example of this. He's come in extremely motivated. Jimmy Butler, every time he's been traded, has come in extremely motivated before it kind of wears off. And we've seen, guys come in and kind of mail it in. And it's a test of if Ja can really take his career seriously. I think just putting him in a new setting, taking him out of Memphis would make him, I think, really lock in, especially if you go to Minnesota. And maybe pairing him with a guy who's better than him.
Right.
Like that, really push the standard. Yeah.
Like you think about like, what was it, like 2022 they played each other? Like it was because Ja had already passed Zion in his career because Zion can't be on the court. The question was, is it Ja or Ant? And it was like, for a while, it was like, no, it's Ja. And it's so clearly been Ant these last few years. Like, you think maybe Ja would take that personally if he's on the same team. I'm looking at the teams around the league, just looking at the standings, trying to think, like, anyone in the Eastern, like, would the Bucks try a last-ditch, like, would they try some last-ditch effort, like, oh, let's get a name to try and keep Giannis?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if they have the players to do it. I don't know why if they're planning on trading Giannis, I don't know why you'd ship out a bunch of assets anyway.
I agree. Like, the East, I don't really see, like, the Magic, no. Like, the Celtics always seem to find themselves, milling around, but I don't see them as or, like, I mean, like, if they were thinking about, hey, we're going to part ways with Jaylen Brown, like, in the future, maybe, but, like, no. Yeah, I mean, the East, I don't really see a team that lines up for Ja. It would be in the West, and there's not many. Of course, Miami could be one in the East.
I think Bulls fans would really want Ja just because he plays a lot like D Rose used to, and he kind of reminds people of D Rose, and they were teammates in Memphis for a little bit. And maybe you could trade him for like Kobe White and some stuff.
But would you risk messing up Josh Giddey for Ja Morant now?
That's the risk.
That's the question.
I feel like they could play together. I feel like they could. I think Giddey's a good playmaker, but I don't think he's that ball dominant. And I don't know. I feel like him and Ja like running the break would be kind of cool. So that'd be interesting, and they'd have to hang on to Booz Ellis. But yeah, can I read you this thing about the Warriors? By the way, I've made a lot of fun of the Warriors for being a really old team. So last week, they had Curry exhausted by an illness. Horford had foot soreness. Jimmy Butler was working through back stiffness, and Draymond Green had a sore rib. And all of them missed games as a result. That's what the Golden State Warriors are doing right now. Big win last night, though.
That sounds like a typical dad after playing 2-on-2 on Thanksgiving. Dude. The next day, he's got all of those symptoms, and he's on the couch on Black Friday. Like, yep, I got ribs, back, all like. And that's the team, though. That's the old team. Foot soreness.
That's like Ben Roethlisberger at the end of his career in Pittsburgh, where he was just like icing his body. He wasn't even like practicing during the week. He like couldn't feel anything. It's amazing. Hater watch. Is Cade on your hater watch now?
Cade is. We're both from Arlington. Okay. I love Cade. I'll root for Cade as long as he's not.
Right. Okay. So if he beats the Knicks in a playoff series and like I don't know, stomps on the logo at midcourt,
Adam the hater watch.
Then you're a hater.
But
okay. If he does this,
Adam the hater watch. But until that, I will be pro Cade until he's playing the Knicks at MSG or Little Caesars in a series again. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that's all we got here. I mean, it's been a good episode, good start to the season. Like, obviously, we had the first few days like the gambling, all these incredible games to start the season. Okay, but it feels like the NBA has kept going throughout. Vincent, anything you're looking forward to Any matchups, any players you're wanting to keep, any teams you want to keep an eye on through the next week or so of the season?
I've loved watching the Houston Rockets this season. I'm just so fascinated with like this team of incredible players playing without a guard and still kind of figuring it out. The Thunder's dominance has really just become boring, and it's a dogfight at the top of the East, man. And I'm really going to be interested. This Pistons thing has really taken off this past week, and I think this is a real thing to watch because I think they can. There's a real chance they play their way into being in the Cavs Knicks conversation, and I think that's a really great thing to look forward to. I love this like Detroit sports revival we're having with them and the Lions and the Tigers. Yep. I'm happy for that city. I have family in that city. It's pretty awesome. And Tehran. Shout out to Tehran.
Shout out to Tehran. No, yeah. Quickly as a Knicks fan, like I don't want to be standing watch in 10 games into the season, but I'm kind of like, okay, let's see what the Pistons are doing tonight. Yeah, they've caught my attention, and they caught my attention last year in the playoffs as well. But that's a wrap here on Court Vision, episode number 7. I appreciate everyone listening. Luke Backman, Vincent Zakian. Again, you can subscribe to Vincent on YouTube at Vincent Zakian. You can subscribe here, Backman Sports, for your Court Vision episodes. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Comment below what you think about this season so far, and subscribe as well. Until next time, that's all we got. Peace.